it should say the DFL and the employees union, because that's the you know, where the 150,000 comes from to get these people elected. I'm going to show you all these. Maplewood, the new communist city, thanks to the DFL. Somebody hates the DFL here. Maplewood, the new communist city. That's a repeat. That was an echo. Smart people would vote this consul out. You can do that in November, of course. Election time. Never underestimate the power of angry voters in large groups. So, like I said, there was 80 people there. And of course, what did the consul do last night? Rather than deal with the people, they said, we're going to table it. We're going to table it, and we'll bring it up at a workshop. Of course, at a workshop, people don't have the right to, well, they should, but Maplewood has a policy that at a workshop, people, citizens, taxpayers do not have the right to speak. So let's go on with that. You saw the piece that I talked about, James Lannis, that the citizens, of course, are a menacing group. And I think we have another piece. I see we have a phone call. We have another piece, and the next piece that I want to have played is the piece, the number 4. It's number 4 on a DVD. This is where Marv Copen, and this is why I tell people you can't vote for Marv Copen or John Nephew. Marv Copen wants to make sure that people are silenced. Marv Copen is inferring or saying, I think would be the honest fact, that when we go to council meetings and raise issues, and citizens raise issue, but specifically your host, that's slander. And that because he views it as slander, the Cable Commission, well, the Tim Finity will be there, and trying to say, well, how can we make sure that we can silence public access speech, or how can we silence Mr. Zick, because he comes here and the things he says we don't like, so we interpreted it as being slanderous. Now, we have a phone call. Let's take the phone call, and then we'll play. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Well, this is more or less just a comment, Bob. I was at the meeting Monday night, and I know you were there too. And when we had intermission time, did you notice how Mr. Nephew ran over to the Allied guy and cozied up to him and was so, you know, wonderful to see him and glad you're here and, you know, kissy and all this your kind of stuff up to him? And I never saw him speak once to any of the other haulers that were there. And there were some other council people that were doing the same thing with the Allied person. And the little note that came out in the mail from one of the haulers suggested that Allied was already in the picture, and after Monday night, I'm almost positive of it. I hope you saw that same thing too. Thank you.
Caller, you're right. National company, national waste hauling company, Allied Waste, and sure, they hire some local people, but where do the profits go? Where do the profits go? And when Mr. Rosbach and Nephew and Marv Copen and Lannis and Juneman try to tell you that their buying power is going to save you money, see, they forget to mention the 500,000 to $1 million that they're going to have to spend on these new trash bins. These trash bins that have RFID in them, so radio frequency identification. And how is that going to work initially? When they come out, and that's why these bins are so expensive. That's why it can cost $1 million. When the trash truck comes out and picks the bin up, it's being weighed. And so now they're going to determine how much you should be charged. It's no longer just volume. They're going to look at weight. So if somebody has a couple cats and puts some heavy cat litter in there, or anything that might be waste from out of the garden that might be heavy, anything you might put in there, now they're going to be monitoring you. And again, it's an extension of Big Brother. One more thing, one more way to monitor the lives of the citizens. And they're going to make sure that the amount of recycling, they'll look at how much recycling you do, how much trash you do. And you remember that out in California, I think it was Berkeley, that what happened is that the people started to recycle so much, the city pushed recycling so far that their trash collection went down, and then they had, the city found themselves in economic trouble because the money that was made was out of the trash part of it. So, and then you have to remember, like Minneapolis now, if you don't recycle your pop cans and so forth, the city in Minneapolis, if somebody throws a pop can in the trash and somebody else picks it out, one of those homeless people, seen with a Target grocery cart full of pop cans, pushing them down to the scrapyard there on University and what is that, Jackson? And well, that's theft, because the city wants to has taken ownership of your trash and wants to be able to make the profit off of the value of the recycling. So you don't even own your trash or your recycling anymore. Isn't that wonderful? All right, let's take a phone call. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Good show, Bob. Never miss a week in this show, because you always got new stuff on. Hey, I seen that Mayor of Maplewood, Lily